Fox 61 News at 10 starts now.
Tonight at 10, much needed rain. It fell fast in some parts of our state, but did it put a dent in the drought?
At the end of the day, this is about protecting our kids.
E-cigarette crackdown. Juul paying hundreds of millions of dollars as Connecticut leads an investigation about the device's marketing towards young people.
I have now changed my shopping habits.
A purse alert after several are snatched in one Connecticut town. What you can do to protect yourself.
They were, like me, a working mother, and the next day they were refugees.
And fighting with art. One Connecticut exhibit highlighting the work of Ukrainian women amid the ongoing war.
We begin at 10 with how this heavy rain over the last 2 days is some needed relief for the ongoing drought in our state. Good evening, I'm Jen Bernstein.
And I'm Ben Goldman. Thanks for joining us here at 10 o'clock. Connecticut farms have dealt with a very dry summer, especially the further east you go. It's an issue that we've been following with you for weeks now. Fox 61's Alicia Machado joining us live in Glastonbury tonight to see how the recent rain is helping one farmer in the south end of town. Alicia?
Yeah, good evening, guys. While this rain is a welcome change for the drought situation here in Connecticut, some farmers I spoke with say it's a little bit too late, but it will be a good thing for some of the later crops this year, as well as to rebuild up water resources that were utilized due to the lack of rain earlier this year.
The pitter-patter of rain over South Glastonbury fields, a sound not often heard this summer as much of the state went from moderate to severe drought conditions over the last several weeks.
It's a little too late, but we'll take it anyways because it'll help build up the water table. It'll also help sustain the crops that we still have.
Some crops have already been harvested by this point for Killiman Bassett Farmstead in South Glastonbury and other farms around the state. Kevin Bassett says the farm has been growing corn, lettuce, and peppers among other produce this season. While he says crops like tomatoes did well despite the drier weather, it was tough to get water out to fruits, and the heat wave hurt some of their lettuce crops. They relied more on irrigation this season, using a system of pipes to bring water to their fields from a nearby brook.
We were watering it because if we didn't, we would have lost it. As for the rainfall, we didn't get what we needed, but I'd rather have it too dry than too wet like last year where everything drowned and got rotted. We lost a lot of stuff last year.
Before this recent round of rain, Connecticut would have needed about 12 inches to get out of the drought. The commissioner of the Connecticut Department of Agriculture says for fruit and vegetable operations that struggled through the dry period, the rain won't help this late.
We're far enough into the season that's what's gone is gone, unfortunately. So not getting rain for, essentially July and August means, we can't recoup those losses. It is good news for hay and some of our other crops that are, that may get another cutting or another harvest left out of them.
Now, the state's interagency drought working group is expected to meet again this Thursday to discuss drought conditions. Live in South Glastonbury tonight, Alicia Machado, Fox 61 News.
All right, Alicia, thank you very much. Well, the last 48 hours here in Connecticut have helped with that a little bit.
Yeah, it has. But the big question is the rain going to stay for the rest of the evening? And when is the sun going to come out at some point?
Hey,
Rachel.
Hi, guys. Just some areas of light drizzle or a leftover light shower, but the steady, significant, meaningful rain is over. This is a loop over the last 48 hours, so you can actually see the wave after wave of rain that ended up coming in, starting with Labor Day and continuing through the day today. Tropical downpours, and we ended up racking up anywhere between 2 to 4 inches for most of the state, but there was a band in southern Connecticut that got much more than that, 5, 6, 7, even 8 inches of rain. And you're seeing a big variation in rainfall totals over a small geographical area. So Branford with 2 inches of rain, but North Guilford with 7.5 inches of rain. And look at Niantic versus Norwich, 2 versus 8 inches. So the areas that just got clobbered today, of course, experienced flash flooding. Too much of a good thing, too quickly. It was a manageable amount around Hartford and Willington with around 3 inches of rainfall. This is what the radar looks like right now. Again, a few leftover raindrops across the state. Some of it is so fine, the radar beam isn't even picking up on it, but we'll continue to slowly see this taper off through the overnight. So tomorrow there is a chance for a leftover kind of straggler shower, maybe some fog when you wake up in the morning, and it's a mostly cloudy day. So the rain is slowly coming to an end overnight, but when are we going to see the sun? The answer is not very much heading through the course of the day tomorrow. It's a mostly cloudy day. I do think we'll see some breaks in the overcast, especially during the afternoon. High temperatures cooler than average, close to the 70-degree mark, but then Thursday, Friday, even the weekend, big payoff with sun returning. We'll take a look at that and where the drought stands. Full forecast coming up.
All right, thank you very much, Rachel. Today's rain caused problems in New Haven, especially in flood-prone areas. Train service was affected in the Elm City. In fact, Fox 61's Julia LeBlanc had to call 911 this morning to rescue a woman who was driving this flooded car near IKEA. Not too far away at the post office on Brewery Street, a man was stuck while trying to get to work.
I'm glad you were able to get out of your car there.
I'm alive. I didn't drown. I climbed out the window.
Right.
But I am late for work.
We can't tie the police department up blocking every location, so what we do is we put barricades up. When we put barricades up, people don't see a police officer, so they drive around it because everyone's in a hurry.
Well, the rain also caused a mess on Interstate 95, especially for drivers not used to driving in conditions like this because of the dry summer.
We are following some breaking news tonight in Mansfield, where classes are canceled tomorrow for pre-K through 8th graders. The district superintendent saying tonight that there were some issues today with the school's bus company's ability to get kids to school safely. The district and the bus company will work tomorrow to ensure that bus assignments are accurate and families will get updated bus information.
A Fox 61 exclusive tonight. A Colchester family is upset this evening as they look for a new school for their daughter to attend.
Her father says that she was excluded by classmates for making a complaint, which started a Title IX investigation into an incident involving a high school football team. Fox 61's Gabby Molina joining us live in Colchester to explain that case tonight. Gabby.
Ben, Jen, there were very few details when the Bacon Academy's football season was canceled last year, but tonight we're learning more about what happened and hearing from one family who says that they continue to deal with the fallout from that incident. An incident on a school bus after a football game has turned into a nearly year-long nightmare for one Colchester family.
I never wanted to go into the public with this. I tried, like any other parent would do, I tried to keep it as private as I possibly could because it's still my daughter.
In November 2021, the end of the Bacon Academy football season was canceled and a Title IX investigation was launched. According to the results of that investigation, members of the freshman football team made sexually explicit and sexually violent comments and simulated sex acts with their helmets while sharing the bus with the cheerleading team.
The students on the cheerleading team literally had to be subjected to this the whole bus ride back.
Brian Herlock says the investigation was prompted by his complaint after his daughter told him what had happened. The report concluded she was not sexually harassed, but it also named her.
My daughter was getting pointed at and named, and that's the girl. She spent the entire freshman school year isolated, being tutored at the library by herself.
An attorney and education professor at Quinnipiac University says that Title IX protects students, faculty, and staff in schools from sexual harassment and sexual assault, among other things, and that complaints should be kept anonymous.
No, that shouldn't happen at all. It's also protected when under FERPA, which is another law that protects people's identities and sensitive information about young people.
Herlock says his family spent the summer trying to figure out how to transfer his daughter to a different school district. But now they face another obstacle. He says the superintendent is asking him to sign a release and settlement agreement before she can transfer.
It's a confidentiality agreement. This basically states that you're going to hold them not liable, and in exchange for them to pay for my daughter to go to another school. And obviously that just defeats the entire purpose of what's right and what's wrong.
But Herlock says he's not giving up and wants everyone to know it's okay to speak up if something happens to you.
Change needs to happen. I'm standing up for my daughter. I'm proud of my daughter for stepping up and speaking against this. I'm very proud of her.
I did reach out to the superintendent and the chair of the Board of Education tonight, but haven't heard back yet. Live in Colchester, Gabby Molina, Fox 61 News.
All right, Gabby, thank you. Well, the Hartford police detective accused of shooting a man in the hand appeared in court. Gregory Thomas is accused of shooting him after a fight early Sunday morning. The victim was treated at the hospital and released. Thomas was off duty during the incident. He's now facing charges for assault, disorderly conduct, and interfering with a 911 emergency call. Hartford police released a statement saying that Thomas has been suspended without pay as they continue to investigate.
Tonight, 3 officers from the Madison Police Department are off the force. They were fired after an investigation showed the officers violated the police department's code of conduct, policies, and procedures. The officers were accused of harassment and acting unprofessionally. E-cigarette maker Juul Labs is agreeing to pay nearly $500 million to settle a marketing investigation led by Connecticut. Juul is accused of marketing its e-cigarettes to underage teens with launch parties, product giveaways, and social media posts from influencers. Those actions were blamed for starting a national surge in teen vaping.
This is some of the toughest, these are some of the toughest mandates at any point on any industry. Juul can no longer fund education programs in schools. Okay, Juul cannot depict persons in any marketing under the age of 35. They can't use cartoons like Joe Camel. No paid product placement in movies or television shows.
Attorney General William Tong says Connecticut will receive at least $16 million in the settlement. That money will go toward vaping prevention and education efforts.